TV ni ne naku Ijara Lare. Yau muna tare da wasu matasa daga cikin angoninmu da suke suna wani aiki da yake na alkhairi ne, yasa insha Allah mun kawo su sun fito cikin kabilu biyu ne, Chambawa da kuma Busangawa, muna ce musu Bisa. Su suka zo suna da wani games na yake za su yi, insha Allah za mu yi zancen shi, sannan bayan wannan za mu duba mu tattauna kan labaran da suka mamaye a kasanmu game da shanin politics da muka sani. Jiya finance minister ya ba da mid-year budget review daga parliament, da kuma an samu cikin labarai MP Assin North an samu high court da ya ce bai dace ya ce kamar shine MP ba, yasa ya kamata a yi by election. Sa'annan kuma akwai labarai da dama dai da ya kamata mu tattauna kai, insha Allah. Bayan ni da matasan ga mun yi fira, mun zama da Abdul Samed Issaka Bandaogo, wanda yake shi political activist ne na NDC kuma researcher for NDC in the Assin North constituency. Ba da wani bata lokaci ba, za mu je wurin matasan nan. Assalamu alaikum. Kwan lafiya. Da na so mu introduce kan yan kuri, kai ne?
Ni ne Ninche Kutara.
Ninche Kutara.
Na represent Chamba.
Chamba.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. From one organization?
Chamba kuma Kukuli.
Chamba kuma Kukuli. Okay. Sannan dan wafa?
Sunana Faisal Al-Hassan Yunus.
Faisal Al-Hassan Yunus.
I represent Bissa from Bissa Fitness Club mostly.
Okay. Busangawa kenan.
Bissa.
Bissa.
Ba mu so Busanga na, muna so Bissa.
Oh, okay, Bissa. Yani kuna sama. Okay. So bari mu fara kanka. Why ina Chamba Bissa games ya fito? Why kawo ra'ayin wane ne?
Honestly, Bissa event tsakanin mu da Chamba wannan ya fi youthun Chamba wannan su suka kawo wannan idea saboda long term relationship da ke tsakanin mu da su. Kaga cikin zangonnai mu ba until recently gan ba ka da baka gane wane ne Chamba wane ne Bissa saboda yanda muka zama. Ka gani to an move out da yawa, ka understand na, ya bar mutane an lose contact da ababe, shi sa sun kawo idea gangane kawo mu back together. So wannan relationship na muke da shi da nan mu kuma mu revive shi. Basically shi sa suka kawo wannan idea, kuma so far kuma ya involve sarakai da limamai mu. Shi sa ya bar abin nan inda yake kai wannan, wallahi mun ji daɗi, kuma mun ji daɗi idea nan fa.
Kutara.
Yeah.
To inda shanin zumunci ne. Ai an ya zama a yi batun zumunci a ci
batun ball yana da unit ya fi komi cikin zangonninmu da muke tashiwa. Don yau aka ce sports kaga na yau mun kira abinci, wani shi na kamar shi na da kudi bai zuwa, amma ball bai da babba bai da yaro. Don fivan ball yana kama kowa, shi sa an ce sports na ya bari kowa ya fito inda kowa yake. Don wanga program ga ba karamin program ba, kuma this is the first program, amma bai zama last program mu. Inshallah this is the first, amma bai zama last. Don muna yau ka shiga zangonnin mu before ba gidan da zaka shiga ba gan Busanga ba gan yawo, shi yanzu muna so mu komo da shi back unity yara da kowa sarakai. Shagan kamar to football na ya yi wanga, to football kuma mata kuma na cikin ba su buga football. Shagan kamar to a kara other sports cikin da zai, don an ce football ya kira maza kade, isa kara other sports da zai kira kowa da kowa ya zo mu samu zumunci mu gane juna, abin da zai kawo batun sports.
Na gani na kama akwai volleyball da tag of war, a ce tag of peace dai. Tag of peace ya sunan shi cikin zangoni mun san football ne okay an san mutane na buga football volleyball da su za su zo su buga volleyball
volleyball ne mostly kana kan matan ne sun duki wuraren volleyball ne fi maza don yau wanda muke tashi wa school wai aka ce PE na kan majority na volleyball ne mun ya ce football ya zama kamar aikin maza kadi don zangone mu malamai mu an bar mu ba promote women football ba shi tsala kan tabara kara volleyball cikin shi ya zama kamar sports ne ma kowa da kowa ya participate cikin shi sabin da ya kawo
shi sana kuma wurin ka ya sunan shi su za su buga ball na footballers ne ko wanga yanki fit ko da na gan video an ce Ngolo Kante da abubuwa za su zo su buga ball su za su zo su buga ko akwai wasu daban kuma
gaskiya dai ba su za su zo su buga ba muna da Bissa FC muna da Bissa FC waɗanda ke managing su ni wani kaman officer Mr. Mohammed Mr. Robinson Mr. Roche ta gani sannan akwai Mr. Faisal shi mostly yana base US ne to suke managing Bissa FC na intertribal galan da aka buga daga kandan nan su suka lead mu muka je muka buga so she bar komai kyau to wannan team nan Bissa FC na is different from Bissa Fitness Club amma mu nan no ne kaga shi za Bissa FC na su za su buga wannan match
shi za kai ka buga wani
ni ke kawo
kai goalkeeper ne masha Allah sai sa kutara shi zai kama
wan shi
kai me za ka yi
na strike wannan kamun na pool na ci shi te shi sa wan ni na kai shi retirement
okay kun saba buga
ni na kai shi retirement ni na kai wanga retirement
shi sa yanzu ba wa zai win
Chamba ya win ba ya win ko ya tun win
ya kai ka gane kamar Chamba ya win
first na pool an gama yi
amma ba
buga ba 95 goals
ba ka ci ba sannan amma ka ce Chamba
na je na ci 5 goals
na ka gani ka duba wani wuri ka ga kamar an ci ne
ba na du
kana ji
na san kai na ni na san kai
ni ba mini wanga abu kun kai mini abin ko ba ni cikin pool baka cingo
me za ka yi akwai abin da za ka yi na zai ana shi cingo
ni ma ka leyi ni inda kai baki da ni baka ci na ko na fita cikin pool ke da pool baka ci ina sai nan ga yana baki yake yi
yau Faisal shi na fadi wani
ke kana kuka
ni strike na san shi kuma ba ni aba ina strike ba Faisal ya sa yaki na
ban sa yaki ka wani kake yi
ba sa ya sa yaki na
wani kake
ba karmin strike ba ne iba ci bana ci
jama'a kuna kallo tsarin safiya wanda ke morning agenda kan Baina TV muna tare da matasa daga Chamba Mokikuli da kuma Bissa Fitness Club sun zo tare su organize sports games for ya sunan shi zumunci tsakanin yan Bissa da Chambawa cikin communities mu and in ka duba cikin communities mu muna bukatar irin abubuwan ga da dama don yana kawo mutane together yana promote networking don kamar kutara kan ga akwai aikin ne ke yin don kuma akwai aikin da shi kuma yake yin da maybe za su gamu su share ideas na zai sa ayyukan su biyu na duka ya ci gaba so it's very important okay so finally ina so ku predict scores nawa Bissa za su ci Chamba
in suka kokari fawo in ba su kwashe da yawa ba wani 4-1 5-1 dai sun kwashe
kamar sun ci ku 4-1
mun ci su
yana kace sun kwashe kamar za su kwashe su zuba muku
su za su kwashe cikin netin su
okay Chamba fa nawa za
Faisal na pool da mun ci 6-1
6-1 shi wai 4 ko 5 ke kace
6-1 ni ban da ko ciki
ya abin yayi kamar Chamba suna da vimo
manta da shi
ko manta da shi
kuma ni ni captain
wow
kipa nan ni captain ba zuku captain
okay finally ina son ku ba jama'a message amma ina son ku yi shi cikin yaren ku ka yi cikin yaren ka shi kuma yi cikin yaren shi
assalamu alaikum ndoni jama'a ndokulama ndoni mesa nuwa brother ni che kutara to tikpe ball wata bi boy on the 7th Madina Astrotef dago jama'a ba nambo ya dina wuce ya sai wuce be da benna ti ball silibo je suru ba nambo ya dina ka yaye igbado dealing kitos wa agenda poli na 7th August tikpe ball wata bi boy da Madina dago jama'a suru bi boy be alfami ba ma jama'a suru ti boni on the 7th August 2021 Madina Astrotef bi buri sha biyu ni 12 ari dagba to be 6 year logo ka ta ka ku champion no tibi so ni jama suru ti boni libo assalamu alaikum
salam to kai maka ba jama'a cikin yaren
amma ni na da issue kadan kaga ni by very fluent cikin bisa
ba dama
sanada lose
yasa no ba lose ba ne kaga mu yara Accra ni
ba dama
ba ife mu wanga kuma ga mu ba mu zama kusa da parents mu akan ganga wai sa ba mu fluent ba yasa na prefer ya Hausa nan
ba yawa
saboda kare zo saka ida it's better to be honest
gaskiya ne wannan daidai ne
daga jama'a muna gaisuwa muna fata kowa na cikin alheri abinda ke cikin ne abinda ya kawo mu nan ga shine zaman zumunci saboda mun jima muna zumunci amma abin na so yi kaman zai bace shi yasa muka organize wanga abu saboda ya kawo mu together yasa an Allah ya da 7th August daga Madina Astrotef muna neman kowa ya zo ya support ya so a push unity da muka saba yin from 12 going up to time da ka ganda maza ka wuce kuma mun muka alkawali wanda zai zo mai shin nan bai da ya sani in ya zo ya fila abinda mafi da abinda yake sama alkawali muke muku it's a energy pack stuff made for you shi sa muna rokan ku yi hankuri ku zo ku support ya so abi yayi kyau ya so mu duka mu ji dadi mu gode ma Allah saboda akwai ababin da wanda ya fi mu godiya wanga kuma na ciki shi sa assalamu alaikum
okay so yanzu akan ga ya sunan shi na ga ya sunan shi kutara kasa proud chamba da kuma chamba kimokuli akwai na za samu kayan ga ina za su samu
haka contact chamba kimokuli an samu kayan
chamba kimokuli ina za ga
muna da chamba kimokuli muna da Facebook muna da Instagram yanzu kuma muna da Clubhouse account sannan muna da WhatsApp group account shi sa ko ina dai cikin wanga dukan kan neme mu dai ka same mu insha Allah kuma abin da kake neman duka kan same mu insha Allah ka same
shi sa jama'a na suka zama cambawa inda kun gani kayan na yasa na fulla mai kyau ga t-shirt kuma mai kyau ina da akwai different colors dai
akwai different colors
kana bukata zaka iya reach out to Chamba Kimokuli ka samu ko kuwa in ka come through Baina TV mu establish contact nawa ne
fullon muna sai da shi 30 cedis rigan kuma 30 cedis
wallahi har kuwa ka samu guda 30 cedis ka represent grupin ka inshallah next week za mu sake kawo su mu duba how ready they are for the games on Saturday 7th August za yi wannan ya ake kiran shi games na za su buga daga Madina Astrotef from 12 to 6 she rigar bisa fitness club kuma ya za yi mutane su samu
in kana so rigar nan akwai ka in ka contact mu through organizer mu awal muna kiran shi awal star ka samu muna da page kan Facebook muna da page kan Facebook bisa fitness club na shi sa inda kana so in ba ka contact mu wurin nan ba ina shi na yi mani ya bi through Baina TV kuma ya
shi sa bisa fitness club mun kuna bukatar wangan rigan su ko paraphernalia su za ku ya ku contact su kan Facebook amma in kuka zo through Baina TV za mu samu muku contact su ya so ku ya ku samu paraphernalia to mun gama yau insha Allah next week sabon juma'a mun sake yaduwa da su mu duba waye ready 6-1 nan zai yi ko 4 ko 5 nan zai yi samu na tare da matasan Chambawa da yan Bisa. Mun gama da firansu za mu je break yanzu insha Allah mun resume zan zo in zama da Abdul Samed Issaka Bandaogo in ya so mu tattauna kan labaran da suka mamaye kasa.
Yeah. Why you people get so worried about nothing? Why? Life, just live. Yeah. Only make sure you're good life. Good life. Yeah, like a healing
for you. What? Yeah. I'm catching the steez, I'm feeling the breeze, and girl, your body keeping me life and good for my future. You know I'm a big man, so don't wanna talk too much. 7 to a big God covered, so we get our healing. Religion, someone's healing. To the next man, it's misleading. To the other guy, like a Fiat killing. Miseducation, miss a disease. Looking at me like a civilian, but at every level we're dealing. I'm coming, I want to rule it. And I know you got that feeling. Fire, yes, fire. We coming here to inspire. Groom lawyers, Batman got to retire. I wanna know the reason you wanna drum. Can't you see, can't you smell it? The bullies get to your cut. Yeah. Get the remote to the demand. This of the wheels, I'm a villa. Light up and touch me a healer. Come over here, deliver, healing, reason. Don't you get fed up on the mission, only healing, dealing. Switch the man them to the ceilings, healing, reason. Don't you get fed up on the mission, healing, dealing. Switch the man them to the ceilings. One man dope alike, never got a look alike. Flaming souls, just that you don't look my side. Now that I got your attention, you will lick the vibes. Promise, got for you so much life, yeah. Business and advice, looking like wealth. Not to stress your mind, but heal. Inspire you, goodness, skills, bliss. Good life is such a clean. Talk about really move for families. Take it or leave it. We came here purposely for the healing. Most of y'all, let's make it sweet. We'll go deep inside to clinic. We are the laundry, we are laundry. For the truth we'll never disguise. Cause I'm cool, you thinking I'm high. Get the remote to the demand. This of the wings, I'm a villa. Light up and touch me a healer. Come over here, deliver, healing, reason. Don't you get fed up on the mission, only healing, dealing. Switch the man them to the ceilings, healing, reason. Don't you get fed up on the mission, healing, dealing. Switch the man them to the ceilings. Yeah.
Why you people get so worried about nothing? Why? Life, just live. Yeah. Only make sure you're good life. Good life. Yeah, like a healing
for you. What? Yeah. I'm catching the steez, I'm feeling the breeze, and girl, your body keeping me life and good for my future. You know I'm a big man, so don't wanna talk too much. 7 to a big God covered, so we get our healing. Religion, someone's healing. To the next man, it's misleading. To the other guy, like a Fiat killing. Miseducation, miss a disease. Looking at me like a civilian, but at every level we're dealing. I'm coming, I want to rule it. And I know you got that feeling. Fire, yes, fire. We coming here to inspire. Groom loyals, Batman got to retire. I wanna know the reason you wanna drum. Can't you see, can't you smell it? Nobody's getting to your cut. Yeah. Get the remote to the demand. This of the wings, I'm a real. Light up and touch me a healer. Come over here, deliver healing, reason. Don't you get fed up on the mission? Healing, dealing, switch the man them to the ceilings. Healing, reason. Don't you get fed up on the mission? Healing, dealing, switch the man them to the ceilings. One man dope alike, never got a look alike. Flaming sins, just that you don't look my side. Now that I got your attention, you will lick the vibes. Promise, got for you so much life, yeah. Business and advice, looking like wealth. Not to stretch your mind, but heal. Inspire you, goodness, kings, bliss. Good life is such a claim. Talk about really move far from millions. Take it or leave it, we came here purposely for the healing. Most of y'all, let's make a split. We'll go deep inside to clinic. We are the laundry, we are laundry. For the truth we'll never disguise. Cause I'm cool, you thinking I'm ice. Get the remote to the demand. This of the wings, I'm a real. Light up and touch me a healer. Come over here, deliver healing, reason. Don't you get fed up on the mission? Healing, dealing, switch the man them to the ceilings. Healing, reason. Don't you get fed up on the mission? Healing, dealing, switch the man down to the ceilings. Make sure a good spirit, like a healing. Believe God, I'm praying for you. Good life, vibes.
Yo, what, Jama? Welcome back to Sarin Safia, the morning agenda on Baina TV. I'm still Ijara Larry. We just returned from the break, and the Chamba and Bissa youth were here sharing with us their enthusiasm ahead of their organized games. I'd like to take the opportunity to say salam alaikum, good morning to the Paramount Chief of the Chamba community, Sana Ijonda the First, and the President of Chaya, who is Babs Dopo, that is. I have in studio right now Abdul Samed Issaka Bandaogo, who is the researcher for the National Democratic Congress NDC in the Assin North constituency. We have not seen him in a while. And Samed, salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
How have you been?
I've been good, thank God.
Post-elections, I've not seen you again. What happened?
Yeah, nothing. After elections, you need to sit back, look at the terrain, analyze what went wrong, some of the things that you see have gone right, you try to better it. The things that have gone wrong, you try to correct them, and then make sure that the right things are done next time. We all know the election didn't go the way we wanted it, so we just have to sit back. In life, there's something they call SWOT analysis. So you sit down and make your SWOT analysis. You check your strengths, your weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats all over, and make your corrections, and then move forward.
You were really confident the NDC was ready to come back into power.
The atmosphere and everything was indicative of the fact that the NDC was coming to power. We believe that the election was flawed. That's why we went to the Supreme Court. We went to the Supreme Court. We didn't really get what we wanted, but it's a decision of the court, even though we disagree, but we have to just accept it and then move on. We have a country to build, so we all contribute our quota and see what 2024 holds for us.
So we have a country to build. Is it a case that the people of Ghana have retained the current government and President His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo because they believe they have done well? Is it the case?
I mean, it is obvious that this government's performance is abysmal, and it is clear for all to see. Sometimes, like somebody says, this government performance looks like the cow dung, excuse my language, but the cow dung, you know, dry on the surface, but beneath it is still wet. You understand? So that is this government. They are good at rhetorics, good at sloganeering, making noise. So maybe that thing hoodwink some Ghanaians to vote for them. And then, like I said, we believe that there was a problem with the 2020 elections. And we believe that the Supreme Court could have maybe done better and listened to our case, and then maybe things would have changed. But like I said, it didn't go the way we wanted it. But we are a democratic party. Ghana is a democratic state. We believe in the tenets of democracy. We accept it. We accept Nana Akufo-Addo as the president of Ghana. We accord him all the needed respects and privileges a president has. And then we move on, help the country to grow. I mean, we in the opposition party, whatever we do is for the forward advancement or for the advancements of Ghana. We are not in any way trying to bring the country down or back. We are there to point out the loopholes within the government, to let them know that, hey, this trajectory that you are taking would lead us anywhere. You understand? So I don't think that ideally the government really performed so well. I mean, if you go back, we are not in a campaign period, but if you go back and look at some of the promises they made, I mean, not even one was really fulfilled. If they try to do it, it's fraught with problems.
And so you are saying, okay, I would like us to delve deep straight into the issue. Like the first one, the mid-year budget review. GIA, Finance Minister Yaji Parliament, Yaji presents mid-year budget review. We are in July, ending of July. Yaji Wana. And you mentioned that some of the promises were not fulfilled, but where government has spent 836 million Ghana cedis can yasunanshi free water policy during COVID-19 period. Government ya ba Ghanaians ruwa free. Ya promise kama ya ba Ghanaians ruwa free. She spent 836 million. GIA mid-year budget review. Finance Minister Yazo ya present one.
One of the things I find difficult believing this government is when it comes to figures. They throw in the figures, you later go and then make your checks and realize that what they are saying is not true. So a classical example is the issue of the energy sector issue. When they said they were paying about $1 billion on our energy services. It came out that it's not true. It was rather $500 million. You understand? So sometimes when this government mentions figures, you just have to take it with a pinch of salt. You don't have to be convinced at first. You just have to take your time, go through it, look at the numbers and see whether indeed they have what they are saying is really true. In any event, they have introduced the COVID-19 health recovery levy. So at the end of the day, the Ghanaian is going to pay for that water that we enjoyed, the so-called free water that we enjoyed.
Are you saying the government is giving with one hand and taking
exactly?
With
the they just give Ghanaians what? Who would have thought that the 2021 budget, which was read by the majority leader on behalf of the finance minister, who was then not really I think by then we didn't have even a finance minister because he had not been vetted or something. I stand to be corrected, but I think by then the current finance minister was not in the best of health.
Indisposed.
Yeah, he was indisposed. I think he was out of the country, and then the majority leader and what is it called, Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, had to read it on his behalf, and in that, the COVID-19 Health Recovery Levy was introduced. Then they amended the energy sector levy, which now increased another taxes on diesel and petrol.
But here is the issue. The government promised to do something. They did it at a cost, and now they have to pay it. They have to pay for it. Is it wrong to ask the same people who enjoyed the benefit of free water to pay for it? Is it wrong?
When COVID hits, or when COVID struck Ghana, how much money did the government get from the IMF? They went for a quick facility loan from the IMF, I think about $1 billion or so.
I think it's more than $1 billion.
What did they do with it? The thing is that this government borrows just for consumption. They don't borrow to invest in any capital expenditure. So that is why after 5 years, it is still difficult to point to one hospital built by this government from scratch. It is still very difficult to point to any major road that this government started from scratch. It were all things that were passed on to them by the previous administration. You understand? So, I mean, if you take the mid-year budget or you look at the economy of Ghana, okay, the 2020 budget deficit is 15.2%. The largest ever, okay, in about 40 years. 15.2%.
But the
budget
finance
deficit.
minister is also arguing that the inflation rate is lower than it was in 2016. He's arguing that the Ghana is not as much in debt as the NDC is trying to paint it to be.
If a government...
They are saying the debt to GDP ratio in 2016 is higher than the debt to GDP ratio today.
The debt to GDP ratio of Ghana is 73%, if not 76%. Is more than 70%. We have crossed the threshold. What took Ghana to IMF for a bailout in 2014, the conditions are even much better than what we have now.
Yet we haven't gone to the IMF.
Exactly because of politics. This government believes in sloganeering. They believe in rhetoric. They believe in populism.
So you disagree with the finance minister when he says the transformation agenda is still on?
What's the transformation? Tell me, what is the transformation in this country over the last 5 years? Apart from borrow to consume. I mean, you don't want us to go into that. The free SHS is fraught with problems. When you start a major policy like the free SHS, and your aim is not really to develop the human resource, but you hinge it on your electoral success, your major aim of success or your calculation of the success of the free SHS is not the human resource that you need to produce, but how many votes you can get from that. Right from onset, it's flawed. Sorry.
That's
I have some cold and then this cough sometimes.
Are you sure it's not COVID because we are experiencing the third wave of the COVID-19?
I'm sure it's not COVID.
It's not COVID.
I like.
So if you just joined us, you are watching Morning Agenda on Baina TV with me, Ijara. I have in studio Abdul Samed Issaka Bandaogo, who is the research. The position is
research officer.
Yeah, the research officer. It's not a small man. No. He's a research officer for the National Democratic Congress in the Assin North constituency. And so some of the things he's saying, they are based on research, and he trusts his facts, even though he doesn't have documents here to back those facts. So that was briefly us touching on the media budget review. We need to move on to another issue that has been dominating the headlines, and it has to do with corruption. It has to do with corruption, and it's an allegation against one of the highest placed individuals in Ghana, no mean a person than the Chief Justice himself. He has been alleged to have been involved in a $5 million bribery scandal, and the issue has been submitted to the legal counsel, the Ghana Legal Council, and I hear his lawyer has to the accuser's lawyer has to respond to, I think, about 9 questions. Briefly, what is your view about this $5 million bribery scandal? Is this someone just going after the CJ, or there's some truth in this?
Well, sitting here, I cannot say there's a truth or otherwise of the case. The best thing to do is to go into it, since I think there has been, I learned the president says he has started some processes to investigate the matter. So I think that it will be good for the sanctity of our judiciary for this matter to reach a logical conclusion. It is not a matter we need to brush aside. And I think the genesis of the problem is that one chief, he was the one who took the matter to the General Legal Council.
Yes. And then accused the lawyer.
And accused his lawyer of taking $100,000 from him. And then the lawyer, when he was summoned, says, well, actually, the Chief Justice requested for a $5 million bribe.
From the chief.
From the chief, from him. So from the chief, from his client.
As the lawyer, yes.
You understand? So that he can give them
favorable
judgment. Yeah. So, and then the Chief Justice says, hey, I don't know anything about this. So he had to call the CID. Sorry. This terrible. Sorry. So I apologize to
There's
our
water
viewers.
by your side.
Yeah. Apologize to our viewers. I think I have to take the water.
Alright, so if you are watching us, this is Morning Agenda on Baina TV. You are watching us on Facebook Live as well as on YouTube Live. Like, comment and share. Send in your comments. It could be contributions, it could be questions, and we would read them out as the program goes on. I hope you're feeling better. And
I think now that the truth is a bit now. So
I need to what's in mind too.
So like I was saying, so the Chief Justice then calls in the CID to investigate. I think the CID has not concluded their investigations. The General Legal Council is also looking at the matter, and the man has been submitted and said he has not done anything wrong. You know, and I think that case has to do with Ghana, I think Vodafone, some issue with Vodafone, you understand. So I think that it is all well and good for us to go through this matter, reach a logical conclusion, even it be that the Chief Justice is innocent, he will be exonerated.
Here is something I find quite curious about this. And this is the same Chief Justice who, when he was being vetted after nomination, was asked a question. I think, who was it that asked him a question? I don't recall quite exactly. An honorable member of parliament asked him a question as to what he would do if he is given a gift, you know, from Anas Armiao, Anas's investigation. Some of these things arose that judges were giving judgments in exchange for gifts of goats and stuff, and he was asked whether he would receive a gift, and I think his response was to the effect that yes, he would take a gift. He would take a gift of a goat from someone he knows And so taking that into consideration, this whole conversation about the allegation against him sort of becomes very thick.
Yeah.
As in, like, yes, I agree with you that it has to be pursued to its logical conclusion, but if you listen to his submission and then the demeanor when it comes to talking about receiving gifts, I don't doubt his integrity, but then when something like this is leveled against such a person, even if it is not true, that kind of response makes you consider, well, could that be possible?
Of course, I mean, since there had been issues of judges taking bribe through the ANAS expose, so we know that it's possible. They are humans like us. I mean, we expect them to have a higher level of integrity because of the positions they occupy. For me, the Chief Justice, I don't have anything against him. I just have some issues with regards to some of the things he says when he was being vetted, or when he was then
A nominee.
not a nominee. Let me take this water again, please. Seems this thing is getting serious. Sorry. So, the Chief Justice, for example, on the matter in the 2012 petition, some of the things he said, his judgment, and how he has backtracked on some of those decisions, you understand. In the 2020 election petition, it tells you he's human after all. You understand. So he may say something today and then maybe say something again. Either his mind has changed or he has a better understanding. Whatever it is his own personal judgment. So on this subject, I believe that indeed there should be an inquiry to be able. I know my party has called for him stepping aside so that investigations may conclude. That is the highest party.
Well, in some
decision.
jurisdictions,
Yeah.
that would have not been out of
That would have
place,
been an
but
ideal thing, but this is Ghana. I mean, this country, and you know, it all boils down to what is happening within the country, where people do things and they believe they cannot be punished. People are not taking responsibility
well,
for
if
anything.
it is not proven, because we live in a society where someone can just target you.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So for the Chief Justice, like I said, I mean, he's innocent until proven guilty. Nobody can sit somewhere and say emphatically that the Chief Justice had taken a $5 million bribe. That will be, I mean, the greatest indictments on our judiciary. And I mean, nobody will really trust the judiciary any longer. Okay, and the last, I mean, that thing that holds a democracy is the judiciary and parliament. You know, and most of the time they say when the democracy is off, sometimes the parliament and the executive go away. But yes, you may have the executive, parliament may go, but the judiciary will still be there.
Okay, so on the issue of being innocent until proven guilty, the Cape Coast High Court has come out with a verdict that the honourable member for Assin North constituency, I believe is Honourable Kwesian, is not supposed to be the member of parliament, legitimate member of parliament, due to an issue involving his citizenship, dual citizenship at a certain point before the 2020 elections. And as a result, there have been reactions all over. You have the MPP feeling vindicated and stating that they now have the opportunity to win the seat, which is a known MPP seat, and the NDC feeling they have been hard done by. Indeed, the honourable member or the former honorable. I don't know what his situation is currently. Is saying he has been shortchanged because he feels he has done nothing wrong. There have been commentaries by legal luminaries around to state that the court erred in that decision. Indeed, the minority held a press conference during the week, and the minority leader was saying the result of this thing could affect cooperation in parliament. What is happening?
Like I said, I mean, you can see that the court has given its judgment, and I believe that the NDC as a party has raised questions and believe that it wasn't really a judgment that ought to have been given, because the NDC said that they were trying to file a case at the Supreme Court for the Supreme Court to make a determination on the subject matter. So they did everything possible to make sure that at least they can stop the Cape Coast High Court from giving a judgment until the Supreme Court. But I think that according to the lawyers, the registry at the Cape Coast High Court did everything possible to thwart the efforts of the NDC, because on that D-Day, the NDC lawyers got to the court at about 7 a.m. till about 9 a.m. the offices of the registry, where they want to file all the necessary things before they take it to the Supreme Court, was closed. The registrar of the courts, what's his name? Ustaz Mazu or something, I've forgotten the name. Okay? Who was then supposed to be a bailiff, those things. I mean, you remember the drama during the swearing in of the members of parliament. So, like I said, the NDC was not happy with that decision. And if you look at the merit of the case, at the time the man was being elected as a member of parliament, he 3 dates on this subject: the day of filing, the day of elections, and the day he was sworn in. Which of these was most important? At the time he was filing the nomination, because wait, if you look at legally, the law doesn't say that if you're a dual citizen, you cannot register to vote in Ghana. You understand? So, and the law says that to file to be elected as a member of parliament, you should be You should be somebody who is a registered voter and who is above the age of 21 years, right? That's what the law is. So the man qualifies at that time and registered. At the time of filing his nomination, they say he filed the nomination. The people believe that at the time he was filing, he was not a Ghanaian. So the MPP in that constituency petitioned the EC, the Electoral Commission's director, the district director, and the man presented his renunciation letter from the Canadian government, showing that I have renounced my citizenship as a Canadian. I am not a Ghanaian. He started the processes in 2019 and got everything in 2020, November. So by November, he was not a dual citizen. He was a Ghanaian, fully. He doesn't owe any allegiance to any other country again. So if he leaves and goes to Canada, he goes there as a Ghanaian, not a Canadian any longer. Then he was elected on December 7th as a Ghanaian. Then he was sworn in. Okay? So now the judgment has been given that the elections is null and void, that we should go for another election. which means that it is what? That election was not properly conducted. So there should be another election for the Assin North, right?
Yes.
Constituency. Fine. The NDC won the parliamentary seat. I think the NDC lost the presidential, but won the parliamentary. It means that the people of Assin North wanted Honorable Kwesi to be their member of parliament. I believe that if the election is held today, the NDC will even perform better. Looking at the prevailing conditions in this country, I don't think that if elections is held today, the NPP will win. So that election will even be a referendum of the 7 months or so of the Akufo-Addo's second term. So they should went for it. Some people are comparing it with the Adamu Sakande, the late Adamu Sakande, former member of parliament.
Is it not a similar case?
No. For Adamu Sakande, he never renounced his British citizenship. You understand? He, when he was even elected as a member of parliament, he was in parliament, he was still holding on to his British citizenship. So he was holding allegiance to 2 countries. Okay? When it was found out, then he was taken to court. Then the court found him guilty of perjury. And he was sentenced to prison. I think 15 years or so. He was later given presidential pardon, but later died. You understand? But with Honorable Kwesi, he didn't do that. Okay? He didn't try to hide his Canadian citizenship. In fact, he shows letters that prove that he was in the process of renouncing his citizenship. I think that is why the judge couldn't ask for maybe criminal, or didn't make any criminal proceedings against him. You understand? So they think that if the judge says is null and void, fine. A by-election is imminent. We just pray that we will not have another Ayawaso West Wogon incident. You understand? Where hoodlums will be given security gadgets, accoutrements to come and intimidate and beat people and say that, hey, they are here for security. I just pray. Because honestly, I mean, with this government, anything for power sometimes is seriously possible. I mean, it will shock you. You understand? So I just pray that the by-election will be held peacefully. Everything will be done according to law. The winner comes out. I know that surely the NDC will triumph, and it will even be massive, more than what happened in 2020.
All right. So there you have it, the views of Abdul Samed Issaka Bandaogo, who is the research officer for the NDC in the Ayawaso North constituency, expressing his views on the Assin North ruling. The Honorable Kwesi, I don't know if we are even allowed to call him Honorable Kwesi.
So Justice Boachi, his name is what's the name? I think Jackie Kwesi, something like that.
He has Jachi. He has been. I don't know how to say this.
So now he can no longer hold himself as a member of parliament.
And
so an election has been declared null, and I mean,
so the election has been declared null and void. So he's no longer the MP. There is going to be a by-election, and you believe he will win.
I believe he will.
You believe he will win. That's quite impressive, because the NPP are also saying initially the party was split ahead of the elections, and so that influenced the results. But the NDC believe they can win. Time is against us, and so we would have to wrap up quickly and call it a day. It's a Friday, wherever you are. If you are watching us, this is Baina TV. You're watching Sari Safia with me, Ijara Larry. Samed, I'd like us to wrap up quickly. You have a few minutes to do that so that we would sign off.
Well, I believe that, like I said, I mean, this government, really, in terms of the economy, is just portraying what we call in our local parlance pintimaminto. My reality is not something that is good. For a government that promised that it will not borrow, to come and borrow and balloon the debts of the country to about 332.4 billion Ghana cedis. If I turn that into the old currency, I'm sure we are hitting trillions.
Please, we are not ready.
You understand? So that is a failure. And all these monies that have been borrowed, there's nothing to show for it. This is a government that promised that, every constituency $1 million for 4 years. Out of that, if you go and check the budget, what they have been able to give was only 100. So that money, if you check the 4-year period, they were supposed to give about $1 billion. When you go, they gave only about $100 million. That is about 10%. That is a failure, catastrophic failure. Even with that, they had to use a bureaucracy to give that money out. So it tells you that the government has failed. Like I said, the budget deficit of 2020 was 15.2%. Okay, our growth was, after 2020, was 0.04%. The lowest in about 40 years. And when you talk, they'll tell you, they'll blame it on COVID. It says COVID. Cote d'Ivoire had COVID. You understand? But they grew by 5%. You understand? Ethiopia, the COVID was everywhere. Cameroon and the rest, they did better in terms of their economic growth. You understand? If it is not COVID, then they will blame the erstwhile Mahama administration. When people talked about one deputy minister of finance, Honorable John Kuma, when the issue of our debt stock was said that it is too much. What did he say? Oh, it could have been worse under John Mahama. So that is always their yardstick. The people of Ghana have given you a mandate. After 5 years, you still blame the previous administration for. It's just like, imagine during the tenure of Professor Mills and John Mahama, always blaming President Kufuor for their woes. When Ghana was hit by the energy crisis, when Mahama tried to make a point that, this, what I've inherited, this doomsday that I've inherited, is not my fault alone. It is not my fault. It is a generational problem.
We should wrap it
up. That came up. What did they say? Hey, it is you are in charge. Fix it and stop laying the blame on any other person. Indeed, it did try to fix it. So this government should stop blaming COVID, blaming the erstwhile Mahama administration, face the music, do the right thing, and then build the country, build the economy. People are struggling. When you go out, all of us seated here are struggling. No, everybody is feeling a pinch of the economy. So when they borrow the money, they should invest wisely, put it in capital expenditure, things that will generate something in future, not for consumption.
Okay. Fantastic. There you have it. We have been listening to Abdul Samed Issaka Bandaogo, who is the research officer for the NDC in the Assin North constituency. He's saying to the government that stop blaming the erstwhile Mahama administration. Face the music. Be accountable to the people and make sure the country or the citizens are happy with whatever it is you do, especially when it comes to investing in capital expenditure. So we have come to the end of the show with that submission. My regards to everyone who has watched, who has been with us watching the show, the production crew, i.e. Zulehat Mohammed, Suad Yakubu, and the technical producer Yusuf Yushau Azara, who has been holding the fort for Baina TV, especially this particular show. of course, we say a very good morning to our executive producer, our caretaker, Abdurrahman Zulyadain, who has been doing a wonderful job to ensure we come your way each and every day with different programs. Stay tuned to Baina TV. Keep watching our programs. From me to you, today is a Friday. I'll say Juma Mubarak to all Muslims. If you're non-Muslim, all I can say is stay safe. Have a restful weekend until we meet again on Monday at 8 a.m. It's Assalamu alaikum from me.
Baina TV brings a whole new vibe to morning television with Morning Agenda, Tsarin Safiya.
A cikin wanga shiri za mu kawo muku labaran da suka mamaye Ghana da duniya baki daya musamman cikin zangonnin.
Join us every Monday to Friday from 8 to 9:30 a.m. as we dissect issues and shape conversations bordering on
siyasa, cigaban al'umma, kasuwanci,
sports, entertainment, and more.
Za ku iya kallon mu a shafukan sada zumunta Baina TV a Facebook da YouTube, Baina_TV a Instagram da kuma Baina Media a Twitter. Sunana Sa'ad Yakub mai gabatar da bangaren ra'ayi a cikin bangashirin Tsarin Safiya.
And Ijara Larry, anchor for Morning Agenda, Tsarin Safiya on Baina TV.
Baina TV, connected to your world.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And I'm live and alive and I'm live. Yeah. And we clean on point on set and ready. Yeah. We give it them 1, 2, 3. Them can never understand this. Yeah. This money my story. Get the vibe, get the feeling. This money my story. So many things is gone wrong, cause there's no good giving the chance to perform. Get the vibe, get the feeling. This money my story. So many things is gone wrong, cause there's no good giving the chance to perform. Stigma is deprived me of my right, just a swear to good life. And the nation seem to be blind. Intellect don't look beyond this blatant lies. If you research into the skies, you'll see why your dreams at night. Not all that glitters is gold. I've seen so many that she best to reform. Understand your fellows, you'll have no reason to make them enemies. Nima's a beautiful city, and it's sad when I hear those critics qualify for a job. The mention of Nima, everything tends to be wrong, oh God. Ignorance, trying stigmatization. Yeah, and I'm live and alive and I'm live. Yeah, and we clean on point on set and ready. Yeah, we give it them 1, 2, 3. Them can never understand this. Yeah, this money my story. Way back with Ali. So now I'm on to have me. I've been there, come on, Sarah. You want me as only. Baso sanda jamu ba shelo kachinza pia kusa Ankarin suwa kuke wasada Nduba Zamani ya sake muma musake taka wala tunani Muso kamu koko wabisanda zaman muba Naka ne naka Kama wasa kama diskoki Afidare kuwa nituba Kama ya ara kuma manyani Kan hali sumun sansuruka Kama wasa kama diskoki Afidare kuwa nituba Kama ya ara kuma manyani Kan hali sumun sansuruka Get the vibe, get the feeling. This money my story. So many things is gone wrong, cause there's no good giving the chance to perform. Get the vibe, get the feeling. This money my story. So many things is gone wrong, cause there's no good giving the chance to perform. Yeah. I'm live and alive and I'm live. Way up. And we clean on point on set and ready. Yeah. We give it them 1, 2, 3. Them can never understand this. Yeah. This money, my story. Believe God. Yeah.
Why you people get so worried about nothing? Why?
Oh,
Life, just live. Yeah. Only make sure you're good life.
good life.
Yeah, like a healing.
For you. What? Yeah. I'm catching the steez, I'm feeling the breeze, and girl, your body keeping me life and good for my future. You know I'm a big man, so don't wanna talk too much. 7 to a big God covered, so we get our healing. Religion, someone's healing. To the next man, it's misleading. To the other guy, like a faith killing. Miseducation, miss a disease. Looking at me like a civilian. But at every level we're dealing, I'm coming. I want to rule it. And I know you got that feeling. Fire, yes, fire. We coming here to inspire. Group loyals, bad man got to retire. I wanna know the reason you wanna drum. Can't you see, can't you smell it? Nobody's getting to your cut. Yeah. Get the remote to the Baina. This of the wings, I'm a villa. Lights up and touch me a healer. Come over here, deliver healing, reason. Don't you get fed up on the mission, on the healing, dealing. Switch the man them to the ceilings, healing, reason. Don't you get fed up on the mission, healing, dealing. Switch the man them to the ceilings. One man dope alike, never got a look alike. Flame and sins, just that you don't look my side. Now that I got your attention, you will lick the vibes. Promise, got for you so much life. Yeah. Business and advice, looking like wealth. Not to stretch your mind, but inspire you, goodness, skills. Good life is such a clean. Talk about really move for families. Take it or leave it. We came here purposely for the healing. Most of y'all are with the spirit. We'll go deep inside to clean it. We are the laundry, we are laundry. For the truth we'll never disguise. Cause I'm cool, you thinking I'm get the remote to the demand. This of the wings, I'm a villa. Lights up or touch me a healer. Come over here, deliver healing, reason. Don't you get fed up on the mission, on the healing, dealing. Switch the man them to the ceilings, healing, reason. Don't you get fed up on the mission, healing, dealing. Switch the man down to the ceiling.